What is that?
It's my bone.
God damn it, Cartman!
How would you like to suck my balls?
What did you say?
I'm sorry. Actually, what I said was... How would you like to suck my balls, Mr. Garrison?
Holy shit, dude.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Sick My Balls. Right here on Suck My Balls Network, as well as on HamiMediaGroup.podbean.com or just Hami Media Group, as well as on RatSaladReview.com. You can also find us on YouTube on our own personal thread, as well as on Hami Media Group YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Moses on the West Coast, yeah boy, MSG. You can follow me on that Twitter, Instagrammer, at Matthew Schaffer. And sitting with me across the way from my screen as I look, he ain't no cook. He's just a man, and he's got the plan. His name is Scoop Jackson. Talking about my man. Talking about Scoop Jackson. Always with like impromptu. Like, I just give him this great build-up. I make him amazing, and he takes a drink out of his drink while I'm doing it. How you doing, buddy?
Not bad. How about you, buddy? Trying to stay cool, you know. It's been hot, but
Apparently, it's been hot. It's kind of warm here too. I mean, not as hot as you guys. You guys are having some sort of record days amount of heat there, as I saw on the news. But it's pretty warm here too in Pasco. We're in the hundreds, so I understand where you're coming from. But also, something that wasn't hot in your eyes was the episode they were about to review, and that is the Jakovasaurs. But before we get into the Jakovasaurs, there is a little bit of South Park news I wanted to go over with you. Wonder if you had heard about this. So recently, there has been some rumblings about South Park. There has been some conversations about potentially South Park doing more spin-off movies, TV series, and it seems like it's something that the network is really, fixated on kind of getting. So my question to you to start off this show, Ian, as Viacom, CBS hopes to create more South Park movies and specials, what would you like to see a special about on South Park? Or just even a knockoff character or a movie? What would you like to see it about? What could be fun for you? Or even just to base it around a character, just to start there, to generalize. What would you like to see a character have their own movie or special? Now, of course, we have seen Butters. He gets his own episodes early. Everyone knows it's Butters. That's me. Butters gets a lot. But as far as from a character standpoint, who would you want to see maybe get their own episode? I mean, Jimmy kind of got his own episode a couple times. Even he shared one with Timmy, but then he got one basically kind of his own episode when he got a boner. But I'm just trying to think, like, who could have their own episode that really hasn't had their own episode yet, or if they were gonna do a let's say a special or a parody like they've done like Lord of the Rings before, right? Could you think we can't do Star Wars because it's been done so many times before, but could we do like I mean, we kind of, I guess we already did it with Randy and the Rocky. Man, there's got to be something we could do, like a special where it's like a Mad Max. Like, could they do like a Mad Max South Park special? Or like a Hunger Games? Could they do a Harry Potter a parody?
Rugrats?
No, that's a little. They already kind of did that too with what's his fucking name? The bully's name. I'm so disappointed in myself. It's the episode where the bully comes back after going to jail for 5 years.
Oh, right.
But they already showed them as kids in that episode. That's gonna bug the shit out of me. So I don't know the bully.
I mean, they've done like superhero stuff. They've done like pretty much everything we can think of, bro. They've done, to be honest.
What do you mean?
Like, what hasn't South Park and The Simpsons done?
Well, I'm not saying The Simpsons or even other brands. I'm just thinking about South Park itself.
Okay.
You don't know anything by chance?
The only thing that I can think of is like a cool behind the scenes on how they animated the first couple seasons with construction paper. That'd be pretty sweet to see.
I mean, they kind of gave us that 7 days of South Park, didn't they? Where it's like they kind of take you through the whole 7-day process of them coming up with it. I think that's like a Netflix special, actually.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, you should check that out. It's like a full hour, an hour and a half, where like they take you through 1 week of putting together a whole episode.
With the construction paper and everything?
Well, no, just how they do it now. But
Oh.
like they talk.
No, you see, that's not.
Hold on. Let me finish my statement. I was going to say they talk about how when they first started, they do things and they might show clips and stuff like that. But why are they going to talk about something that they did 23 seasons ago when they're not even doing it now? And how are they going to have unless they replicate the process? You want them to make a whole episode of cardboard is basically what you're saying.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Okay. Well, why don't you make the episode and we'll call it Scoops Park.
Down. I'm down. 2 down.
Well, if you have any thoughts on what you think South Park could parody in any way, maybe it be fantasy, maybe it be action adventure, maybe it's speed, maybe it's the Matrix. I don't know. They could.
They already done that.
They already did the Matrix.
Yeah, the episode with the Jameson.
That doesn't count as the actual Matrix, though. That's not a special. That's just them getting drunk.
Oh, well, I mean, if you mean a special, like
a special, like non-canon or canon, whatever.
Oh, like Back to the Future would be fucking dope.
Yeah, there you go. That'd be cool. See, that's what I'm saying. It's your ideas. We're serious. I'm not like think it's called.
Or like Supernatural, where the guys get sucked into their world, and all of a sudden they look just like everybody else, too. Like they had the Scooby Natural crossovers. Yeah.
Who owns CBS? I mean, I'm sorry. I'm trying to think of what CBS properties do they own that you could do crossovers with of South Park. Like, I know they own the Star Trek. I know they own.
Shit.
Do they own a lot? I think they own Scooby Doo. So you could, in theory, do a but that would never work. You could have Scooby Doo, like Shaggy could come over, maybe baked out of his mind, and hang out in South Park. But you really couldn't put like. Imagine putting Eric Cartman in the gang. Fuck that, guys. Why don't we just sit here and wait for the guys to come here? Why are we gonna go there and do all this stupid other bullshit? Run around, wait for the guy with the mask. No, fuck that. I'm just gonna Oh man. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are here to deliver to you another rendezvous episode of South Park. This is our 36th episode as we are reviewing South Park Season 3, Episode 4. As we mentioned, Jakovasaurs, how are we pronouncing this? Jakovasaur. But I like saying Jakovasaurus.
But it's not a saurus.
I know. I just like adding off the tongue.
Who cares? You know what? Jakovasaurus. Jakovasaurus.
It's the Jakovasaur. Or the Jakovasaurs. In this episode. And basically, it's the 4th episode of the Season 3, 35th episode overall of South Park. Originally aired on June 6, 1999. Now, go ahead.
I actually remember seeing this episode because my buddy made a big deal. He was like, a new episode. And he was like, just loving it, dude. I remember hearing that first. Hi! My name is June. I was like, fuck this.
So while
rip it open.
So while Stan, Kyle, Cartman, and Kenny are camping in the woods, Cartman discovers a species that was thought to be extinct, Scoop. And, based on this episode, I think they wish it had been. They never discovered this. And the species is very annoying and everyone in town. Except Cartman wants to get rid of them. So here's how the episode starts out. They're at Stark's Pond. Look like you got something on your mind, Ian.
I think Cartman likes it because everybody else hates it.
No shit.
Shut up.
it does all the annoying for him. It's the perfect thing. We'll
Right.
well, let's
There
wait.
it is.
Let's wait till we get into that. So Cartman discovers this species as he's at the pond with the guys. They're just camping, just 4 boys out in the woods hanging out. And Cartman busts out the harmonica.
You guys, listen to this song I just wrote. It's called I Hate You Guys. I hate you guys. You guys are assholes. Especially Kenny. I hate him the most. Okay, now let's try one all together. I hate you guys. Come on, you guys know the words. Especially Kenny.
Da, na, na, na. I hate you guys. Da, na, na, na. You guys really suck. Da, na, na, na. Seriously, guys. Da, na, na. Especially Kenny. Come on, guys. You guys know the words. Da, na, na, na. Especially Kenny. I hate you guys. Especially Kenny. Come on, you guys, sing it out with me together. And then he's like, all right, guys. He's like, I gotta go home, take a crap, guys. I'll be right back. And they're like, dude, just go take a crap out here in the woods. And they eventually convinced Cartman to take a crap out in the woods. He's about to start taking his pants down. And they're like, dude, not right here. And he's like, oh, guys, sorry, I didn't know you guys knew all the rules for crapping out in the woods.
Not here, go further away. Yeah, I'm glad you guys know all these pooping outside rules.
What I love the most right here is how well Cartman plays the harmonica. Like, it's not an easy instrument to play.
It is not.
When I tried to learn how to play, I actually got frustrated with it. It was like, fuck this, because I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you, like, aim for one hole, how you... Well, I don't get it.
I learned how to play the melodica, which is an air instrument, and I learned how to play the a wooden saxophone, which is like essentially a reed. So like I know how to play reed instruments now. So it would be interesting to try and play a harmonica again. But yeah, harmonica seems kind of difficult because you've got to be able to blow briskly into one chamber and have it echo off the other side to create that or have it resonate a sound, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got to do it in such a motion that it sounds good too, It's a little bit difficult. And also I think it's also just practice. Like if you probably wrote like what corresponding root notes are of the holes, right? You might be able to figure it out maybe a lot easier. And then just practice blowing. You gotta practice blowing. You gotta practice taking my bath.
Yeah.
You gotta close your mouth, close your eyes, suck from the hose. All right, so let's get into the next part of this episode. So the boys, Cartman's taking this shit and he gets scared. How bad is that? Have you ever been out in the woods maybe and you're taking a shit, it's the middle of the night, and you get startled, but you don't stop shitting? No?
I've never put myself in that kind of position where I'm in that vulnerability in nature where I'm taking a shit, and that sounds good, scare me.
Oh, okay. Well, sometimes.
Have you?
Late in the middle of the night, out in the middle of nowhere, thought I heard like animals. Yeah. I was taking a shit.
Oh.
Or you get kind of spooked out, Like, what's going on? I'm just trying to finish my business. Maybe you're half asleep or something, maybe.
I mean, maybe pissing. But
you get more worried peeing, really? Like peeing, you can at least pull up your pants and run.
That's what I'm saying. The only time I've ever been in that position was while I'm pissing. I'm not shitting in the middle of the night.
Never taken a shit in the woods?
I mean, I've taken a shit in the woods, but
never at night.
Never.
Yeah, no, I've had like a grumbly, like I ate something or whatever it was. Woke up in the middle of the night one time while in the woods, and I had to run in my hole that I had made, and I took a shit. We all made our hole in different directions too, so that way if we had to run, it's like you run to your hole. You don't want to run somebody else's hole. That's their shithole. Just digging shitholes in the woods. So
I remember one year at scout camp, dude, kids blew up the latrine. You threw a roll of toilet paper on fire down in there, and that shit just caught on fire. Shit was
shit in the woods after that.
Hilarious. No, I shut it down. Send it home.
They shut down the whole camp?
Yeah, send it home.
Oh, because it's a health hazard and a violation of code not having bathrooms and shit? That's funny.
Dude, and we were deep in the woods, too. Like, we were deep out there. It was pretty dope. I miss going to scout camps, man, because you go out in there fucking, like, all of this, like, sexual misconduct, dude, like.
Maybe you should.
I never noticed that.
Maybe you should join the Adventure Club. Not the Super Adventure Club, just the regular Adventure Club.
There's a Super Adventure Club and an Adventure Club?
Well, as we later learn on, Chef dies from joining the Super Adventure Club.
Oh, right.
And they're like, what did you think the Super Adventure Club was? And Stan and Kyle's like, where you go on adventures and travel the world and like eat food and check out people and check out blah blah blah. He's like, oh yes, we do all that, and we have sex with young boys. That's the Super Adventure Club.
Oh, yeah.
That is that should be season 10 premiere. Anyway, Stark's Pond. And after they're sitting there taking poops, Cartman discovers something in the woods, and what does he find, Scoop?
His own turd.
No, he finds just Jakovasaurs because he's like yelling at the guys. He's like, "Hey guys, come over here and check this out." And Kyle's like, "Nah, dude, I'm not gonna go fucking check out your poop." And they're all like, "Nah, dude, no, seriously." So they run over there, and what do they see? A Jakovasaurs. So they bring the Jakovasaurs back.
Don't forget, this is where they tell him that he has to bury it, right?
Well, yeah, but like I actually kind of already said that earlier. So
Whatever.
when I was making jokes. So
Whatever.
anyway. So as they're leaving after they find the Jakovasaurs and they're gonna go take it, then yes, Kyle had him poop. And then he goes, "You're supposed to bury, dude." So meanwhile, inside the house, now what's going on the other side is Ned has lost his voice box to Jimbo and Ned. And Ned has lost his voice box, and Jim orders him, he's going ahead and order him a new one. Now, while that's going on, like he's burping. He's like, "Don't burp. That's disgusting, Ned." Ned tries to do that a couple times throughout the episode.
Oh, don't you do it. That's what he does.
I was just mimicking. I wasn't actually burping. Those are pretty good mimics, though. Meanwhile, inside the house, Ned, like I said, he lost his voice box, so they're searching for it. Can't find it. Knock at the door, shows up. The boys are outside. They're like, "Uncle Jimbo, we brought this species to you
Jimbo?
because we knew you're the hunter, obviously, and we don't know what to do with it." So Jimbo recommends that they take it to City Hall and speak to Mayor McDaniels, and Mayor McDaniels, I guess, ends up calling the Department of Interior, and then Mayor McDaniels and the City Hall and the Department of Interior have a meeting, and then Mayor McDaniels decides that they need to look after this nearly extinct species because the Jakovasaurs is apparently a endangered species. So they were like, if we could help find a way to, for it to procreate again, it would be great. Now, the female version of the Jakovasaurs is not very annoying. Yes, it does make a boop sound, but like it's for the most part pretty quiet. Would you not say so?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the male, which we're gonna get here to this, but you don't have to actually yell, dude. Like that hurt my ear.
Yeah, it hurt mine too. My bad, dude.
Turn that down on the editing. So
Take it down a little bit because you're stupid.
So anyways, soon after that, the boys are like, I guess they're hanging. No, it's Cartman. Cartman is hanging out at his house, and his doorbell rings, and like he's like, "Mom, somebody at the door." And his mom's like, "It's probably one of your little friends." And it rings, and Cartman's like, "Do you want me to get it?" And she's like, "Go ahead, dear. It's probably one of your little friends." Blah, blah, blah. So he gets up to go to the door. Meanwhile, she's smoking crack with two guys, naked guys in a bedroom, like got a torch and everything, like
just straight going at it.
Just straight up, like got that shit like ready to rock and roll, but in a crack pipe. And yeah, she's getting it on, and I guess she's having a good time. Cartman answers the door, and it's another Jakovasaurs.
He's all mad and shit.
This Jakovasaurs is like, "Where's June?"
Mom, it's another Stark's Pond creature!
That's nice, Muffin.
Please help me! Whoa! Please help me find June. She has been gone since last night and I'm worried scared.
You mean the other Jakovasaur?
What means a Jakovasaur?
You're a Jakovasaur, that's what they call you.
Oh, cool beans!
And they're like, "Oh." And he's like, "You're look." And Cartman's like, "You're looking for it. You're looking for it, Jakovasaur." "Yeah, that's my one. June. So he falls and shit, and Cartman laughs, if any. So Cartman's like, I gotta tell my friends. So eventually they tell Stan and Kyle and Kenny, and they decide that Cartman decides that parents won't understand. Now, by this point, Stan and Kyle and Kenny, they're over Jakovasaur. They find Jakovasaur to be annoying. Am I right?
Right. Like, they do not like it.
They think him as annoying. They want him to go away. They're like, is this really a good idea? Do we want to take care of these Jakovasaurs the whole episode? Like, they don't like these. But Cartman, he's like, yeah. He's like, we gotta take care. Cartman goes to the whole drama. Parents just won't understand, guys. So Cartman decides, with the boys' help, to take Jakovasaur to the June. And like they're like, you gotta be quiet, you gotta be quiet. Now they've stored June in a barn. Now they tried to store Mr. Garrison wanted to store it at his house, Scoop. What did he end up saying?
What did he end up saying?
Really?
Oh, he's like, this is nice. Right?
Mr. Garrison ends up saying, well, if you ever need anything, Jakovasaur, you can always stay with me. In fact, why don't you come back to my house? And Merrick Daniels goes, no, Mr. Garrison, he can't stay at your house. Not after the last time with the pigeon. And then what does Mr. Garrison say?
Oh, we all know that pigeon was a slut.
Mr. Garrison admits openly in a public forum here, Scoop, that he is into bestiality. Excuse me. Interspecies erotica for our Canadian friends. Oh yeah, just want to sodomize me, dog. Oh, that's from the Terrence and Philip episode. Sorry, not without my anus. So yeah, I guess they get the impression here that Cartman wants to help, with this Jakovasaur. He actually cares for something, right? Now,
right.
Unfortunately, this Jakovasaur, as we mentioned, is loud. He can't keep quiet. So eventually the mayor ends up, I guess they have a meeting, right? Or whatever again. And they're like, okay, if we can get them to procreate, then, we can have them mate and create the whole new species. So they decide that they're going to go ahead and create a house for them. So now the Jakopasauruses are living in a house. And, they're like, all right, well, we're going to leave you alone to have sexual intercourse. And then they realize, like, that they don't have any genitals, or at least Jakovasaurus does not have any genitals, it appears. However, Jakovasaur can speak pretty good English, wouldn't you say? He's like a hybrid. He's like the evolution of five monkeys having butt sex with a frog. That's Mr. Garrison's
Mr. Garrison.
evolution.
Jesus.
His evolution theory. You're the offspring of five monkeys having butt sex with a frog. A fish frog.
Fish bro.
And this fish frog walked up on land, had sex with this monkey, and then this monkey had sex with this another monkey, and this monkey had a baby, which kind of looked like a human, which had sex with another monkey, and that's what made you. Anyway, so yes, the Jakovasaur, he can speak pretty good English, but after realizing that, they can't have sexual intercourse when they leave alone, they have no genitals, the city calls for the help of Dr. Mephisto. So they take Jakovasaurus back to his lab, and it's at this point they take some sperm from the male Jakovasaur named Jackoff and place it inside the female Jakovasaur named Hope, by the way. That's right, I skipped over that part. They're like, when they first find the Jakovasaur, they're like, what should we name it? They're like,
Jakovasaur could mother an entire population of the animals.
Well, in that case, I think we should name it Hope.
Hope. Yes. Hope.
Nisa named June. I think its name is June.
Hope? Why, that's a perfectly beautiful name.
and then like everyone's thinking, and then like the Jakovasaur goes, Misa named June, which is totally a parody at Jar Jar Binks, Scoop, which we'll kind of get to here. This whole episode is a shot at Star Wars. and then get it Hope, and then they're like, Hope, yes, Hope. We'll name her Hope. So all of a sudden now, Hope is or June, aka June. She's pregnant, and they're inside the living room of their new home, and they're like, wow, 4 days later, that you got pregnant fast, and they have their first child inside the home, Scoop, and it splatters, and everyone's all, wow, that's great, and then all of a sudden goes, oh, looks like she's gonna have another one. That would even be great, and it just spits out 50.
50.
Can you
Just
imagine?
starts pooping them out. Just
Now, don't get me wrong. I think this episode is 50. I mean, it's 50. I think this episode is funny, but I don't think it could be around 50.
no. It was like, in all actuality, it looked like really like 20.
I know, but we end up finding later it's 50. And I'll allude to it later. So after this huge litter of Jakovasaurs are born, everyone apart from Cartman finds them to be annoying. So much so that the Department of Interior leaves. They're like, wait a minute, where are you going? They're like, we're leaving. And Cartman's like, you can't leave. And they're like, you know what? You really care for these Jakovasaurs. So we're making you an official Department of the Interior. And he's like, really? And he's like, yes.
Really?
You now have authority. Authority.
Authority.
And Cartman's like, authority? And Stan and Kyle like, oh shit, dude, they gave him authority. And now Cartman has authority over. They never really referenced it again, but you know that Cartman has authority over all the living things in around South Park. They never really take that away from him. Do you notice that?
Nope. They never
So-
did.
That leads me to believe that Cartman is still in charge of all animal living things in around South Park. He has authority.
Yes, we're leaving.
What?
We're getting the hell out of here and away from those goddamn things.
You can't leave.
Yes, who would take care of them?
Little boy, we're making you an honorary Department of Interior person. So now you are officially in charge of South Park's fish and wildlife. You have authority over all of them.
I have authority?
That's right. And people must respect it.
Well, that should be fine, just fine.
Fine, just fine.
Fine. Oh no, nothing's worse than Cartman with authority.
Bye-bye now.
All right, so the mayor and the rest of the town are annoyed by the Jakovasaurs because what happens is that if in one scene we see the Jakovasaurs are at school and there's like 20 of them and half of them are boys and half of them are girls, and you know the girls are of course making the noise, the boop, and then the boys are like answering their hand to answer a question, but they don't know the answer to the question, so they're just going, I don't know the answer. And school days, I like school. What are you looking at over there, Ian?
I'm reading about this episode.
Oh, okay. So the mayor then organizes a game show after this, or actually the next scene after that. Then we see that Jakovasaur got invited to go. He got invited to go hang out with the rest of the parents now that he's a dad. And oh, you know what? I forgot. I skipped over. They originally were going to ship off Jakovasaurs to Memphis, but the reason why Cartman was named the Department of Interior initially too was he convinced Jakovasaurs to stay. So that's when they were like, okay, we're leaving here. You can be the Department of Interior. So that's why he got authority.
Authority.
Because he convinced them to stay when they tried to get rid of him the first time. So now the second time they're trying to get rid of him comes after Jakovasaurus is hanging out with the guys when they're watching a football game. And he keeps interrupting, votes for the 49ers, which pisses off the Bronco fans. And then eventually, they're like, you know what, Jakovasaur, here's a bunch of money. Can you go down to the store and get some pretzels? Yeah, go to the store in Fairplay. And,
The one far, far away.
yeah, the one far away. Now, fun fact, which we'll get to later, it's based on Fairplay, the town of South Park. And I will be visiting this town when I move there. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm moving to Colorado. I am going to be in Colorado doing South Park episodes. And then maybe one day Scoop will join me. But that's another conversation for another time. So after that, the mayor decides with the rest of the town, they got to get rid of Jakovasaur. You know, they couldn't do it the first way. So what they're going to do is they devise a game show idea. And they are going to also use the boys to distract Cartman here. So first they're like, they send him it was either a phone call or a message or something in the mail. I forget what it was. But like he gets the idea to go on the game show, and then he calls them back, and the mayor, everyone in town is, or like all her closest confidants, are all waiting around the phone. They're like, "Come on, please call us, please call us." So he calls, and he's like, "Hello, this is Jakovasaurs." And the mayor's like, "Yes, we know. Do you want to be on a TV show? Do you want to be on the game show or not?" And with an opportunity, a chance to go on a vacation. And yeah, can I bring my family? And she's like, "Yes, of course. That'd be the whole point of it." And he's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, great, let's do it." Meanwhile, they had like a parody spinoff where Jakovasaurs comes home to his family after a quote unquote hard days of work. And there's like a laugh track, and there's like a awe track, and then Cartman comes over, and Cartman comes over and goes, "What the hell is that?" He doesn't understand why there's a laugh track and all this shit. But now the mayor and everybody have got Jakovasaurs on board to be on this game show. So they get Jakovasaurs to come to the game show, and the first question is, they were like, if you answer one question, you win. And the first question is, what color is blue? And Jakovasaurus' opponent was Officer Bob Brady. Go ahead, Scoop. What's the answer? What color is blue?
Blue?
Ding, ding, ding. God damn it, Bob Brady. You're not supposed to get the answer right. What?
Oh.
Where am I?
Where am I?
So we'll get back to this, because like Mayor's like, okay, best 2 out of 3. We pan over, and now the boys they've got Cartman, and they're like, hey, we got to take you out to the woods to show you our newfound species. It's a new type of bear, because you're the Department of Interior. You're the authority. And Cartman's like, that'll be fine, just fine. We got my notebook here. That'll be fine, just fine. And then it's just, he's like, see, there he is. And Cartman's like, yeah, that's just Kenny. And their ears. And then the bear mauls Kenny, and Kenny dies. So now that Kenny's dead, Scoop, what do you say? It's time that we get into
what did Kenny say?
Bum, bum.
What did Kenny say?
Yeah. All right. So Kenny doesn't have a lot of lines here, Scoop.
I think he's only got 2.
To be quite, yeah, it's 2. So in the first part of the episode, as we mentioned, Cartman is pooping outside, and he's got a song, and he goes, pooping outside, making sense of ice cream for my thing. And he goes, hey, Kenny, can I buy you? Hey, Kenny, can I buy you glove? Your gloves?
Yeah.
And then, yeah, exactly. He gets up, he goes, here you go. He begins to walk over there, and then goes, wait a minute, no, wait, realizing that Cartman wanted to use his glove to wipe his ass. So that was the first thing Kenny said. And the second thing here is Kenny is when he's got the elf ears on after the boys leave, he's starting to rush after them, and he says, hey guys, wait up for me. And then a black bear, as we mentioned, rushes down the hill growling, wah! And the bear mauls him, and they tumble away. So pretty short and sweet, Scoop. So I guess you might say
That's what Kenny said.
Yeah, that's what he said. All right, so let's wrap up this episode. Now that Kenny is dead, Cartman, realizing that Stan and Kyle were sent to distract him, to keep him from stopping the Jakovasaurs from leaving, that he has to get back, right? He's like, oh, crap. So he runs back, but unfortunately, it's too late as we go back to the show. And Officer Bob Brady's up by 7, like 7-0 now. What's 2 plus 2? 4.
Damn it, Bob Brady.
You know what? Jakovasaurus, you're the winner. And Jakovasaurus like, I am. So Jakovasaurus was named the winner, and they all huddle Jakovasaurus onto a plane. And unfortunately, Cartman does not make it in time, as Jakovasaurus is on the plane himself when he arrives. And Jakovasaurus is like on the plane, and he's like, bye, hi, bye. And so like he leaves, and you know, they're all trying to consult Eric, and they're like, this was best. And Cartman's like, no, save it. I don't want to hear it. And then save it, mother. And then the mayor's like, sometimes you grow and sometimes you change, and you have to. It's what's natural order of life. And then Ned's got his like really good voice box, which is just Trey, like just doing the voice. It's great. And they're like, "Man, your voice box sucks." He's like, "Yeah, I know. Can't find my old one." It's just really great. But the odd, I think, I think what's interesting though is I don't know, maybe, is it Trey that does the voice?
We can't go around saving every form of life, any more than we can kill them all. We have to let nature run its course.
Dad, that voice box sucks.
I know, I'm still trying to find my old one.
So while Scoop went to the bathroom, we're just going to go ahead and wrap up this part of the episode. So in France, now at the conclusion of the episode, the Jakovasaurs quickly make themselves at home as Jakoff then trips and crashes into a cafe, much to the French people's music, and remarks on how he reminds them of Jerry Lewis. So that is a wrap up of that episode itself. All right, Scoop, let's go ahead and get into the trivia here. Do you want to read some of these? Involved more in the show. Why am I reading all this shit all the time?
This is the only appearance of the Jakovasaur within this series proper, but they have been featured in the game South Park Let's Go Tower Defense Play.
Nice. That is actually true. This is the actually only appearance of them in the episode. However, in the series proper. However, I believe they are background characters in 200. Like they're in the background, I want to say when maybe
Yeah,
we get to that. The next one here I wrote, they make a minor appearance on loading screens in the South Park The Stick of Truth, which was always a nice little thing.
Mm-hmm. This is the only episode where Ned has a different voice box. Do you think that they were like playing around with it, trying to figure out if they wanted to him have something maybe, and they were just like, you know what, let's kind of just stick to what we had.
I don't know. Like, it's an interesting take to give Ned some more character development. But like also just very odd that they would really. Maybe they were. That's a good. That's probably maybe. I mean, that's like maybe it was just something that's. Hey, let's mess around with Ned's voice this episode and see what happens. Maybe it wasn't even serious. You know what I mean? They just threw it in there because it is kind of just minute in the context of the show. He does give a very good ending speech. Which we were kind of getting into before Ian decided to rush off to pee. But that was the fact that he gives like a very good, like heartfelt speech about change and growth and getting growing as a person. And he does that with the voice, but without a voice box, just a regular normal voice with Trey's voice. So we mentioned that. But that being said, next one here, this is one of the few episodes to feature cartoon sound effects, like with all the slipping and sliding that Jakovasaurus did and the laugh tracks and stuff like that.
Notice that
That's
dumb stuff.
Very Hanna-Barbera-ish. That's why I kind of liked it. It was funny.
Jakovasaur's name is a cross between the term jack off and dinosaur, as if you couldn't figure it the fuck out.
There was an instrumental version of Chef's song "Stinky Britches" from Chef Aid that's playing in the background. Miss Cartman is smoking some crack with the two dudes. So apparently that's a jam to bump to. Do you want me to read this next one? Do you want to read it? First one.
In the commentary for this episode?
Yeah, you can read the first one. I'll read the second one.
This was one of the first episodes made while South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut was in post-production. Trey specifically remembers that they were doing sound mixing for the movie when people started talking about this episode, when it aired the night before.
Yep. Now, as I mentioned, the Jakovasaurs was a reference to Jar Jar Binks from Star Wars Episode 1, Now the Phantom Menace, which had just come out a month before this episode aired. Now, both Matt and Trey felt betrayed and angry after seeing how horrible the film and the character were. Now, their goal was for the episode to make fun of, Jar Jar Binks by using Jakovasaurus even more annoying and making him more annoying itself than Jar Jar, which in turn made actual South Park fans dislike this particular episode, including yourself. You do not like this episode. It's not one of your favorites. But it's actually one of my favorites for that exact reason. Because here's the thing. I don't like Not Without My Anus because you don't have the main characters. But this, when they're pissing off the fans, I like this. Like, because you're still using the main character and Cartman's doing it. So, like, to me, it's great. So that's why I like it. So, and to continue on about it, Matt mentions that they were inspired to make this episode after they had planned to do a short with Jar Jar Binks, inspired character and actor Chris Rock for the MTV Movie Awards that year. It was eventually scrapped by MTV due to advertisers who had issues with them making fun of something involving Star Wars creator George Lucas.
Oh, whatever, pansies. The scene with the boys camping was inspired by Matt and Trey's childhood in Colorado of play camping, where they would essentially camp a very short distance from their home and then head back inside by 11 p.m. Can't say I didn't do that either, so, you know.
Hey, kids will be kids, right?
Right?
Kids will be kids. They got to do their thing, and they gotta. You gotta make the best of the situation.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, you gotta do. All right, so that is our trivia section, guys. So now we're gonna get into our pop culture. So at the beginning of this episode, Cartman is singing a typical form of blues on a blues harmonica. And I'll just go ahead and get to the next one here. Ned and Jimbo are also watching the House Shopping Network, which is a parody of the Home Shopping Network, which is a 24-hour news network. Which is funny, I have to watch one of those channels at work.
Isn't Cartman watching the same thing later on, too?
Is he watching? Oh,
because he wants the sword. That's what
what's he doing?
Man, can I get the sword? No, honey.
Maybe. Sweet.
It's sweet.
That's right. That's right. So, yeah, they're watching the Home Shopping Network, which is a 24-hour news television network or a television network that caters to selling items live on TV, which viewers can call and order. So the government agents interested in the Jakovasaurs is the Department of Interior, which prior to 9/11 was the name of the government agency that dealt with policing, national security, and immigration. During the administration of George W. Bush, so see, when I became president in the early 21st century, what I did was I took that department and I formed it with another department, and I was just like, you know what, we're going to call this Department of Homeland Security. Now you're going to hang out on the border and you can protect America. So anyway, go ahead and read the next one.
The Jakovasaurs' name is June, which of course is a parody of Jar Jar Binks' name. Randy and Gerald suggest that a Jakov go to Fairplay, a town 4 miles away because they sell better pretzels. Fairplay is an actual town located in Park County. It is established in 1859. Fairplay is the town that provided inspiration for South Park.
Boom, that's where I'm going.
So we moving to?
I mean, I'm not moving there. I'm not moving to Fairplay, but I am going to Colorado. So I will be living in the Denver area, but I will be going out to Fairplay for sure.
Good.
Because apparently how it works out there is like when South Park says South Park, they mean it as the county of South Park. So they did it that way on purpose. So that way they're not specifically being one city. Does that make sense?
Mm.
Like I didn't realize that because apparently it's split up into North Park, Middle Park, and South Park. That's how the major counties are set up.
That's
So
dope.
I just Joe clued me in on that, who we've had here on before. He was like, yeah, dude, that's how it breaks out. He's like, Fairplay is in South Park. And I was like, oh, okay. Nice. So according to the Home Shopping Network, this is so good though. I love you mentioned this. The House Shopping Network is what they call it, not the Home Shopping Network. The samurai sword they are selling was once used by ancient Takagawa samurai. The Takagawa Shogunate was a feudal regime in Japan that ruled from 1603 to 1868. And Car was like, man, can I get the ancient Takagawa samurai out the house shopping network? His mom's like, maybe, dear. That's pretty cool. That's pretty sweet.
The people of South Park went to send the Jakovasaurs to Memphis, Tennessee, a place that is populated with people just annoying as they are.
Sorry, I wrote that in. That wasn't even the trivia thing or the pop culture. Do you think that would be a dick move if someone wrote that on a website? No, I put that part in there. Yeah, a lot of people from Memphis are annoying, bro. Have you ever been there?
I've only met people from there, and yeah, I can agree. They've all been annoying as fuck.
They're very loud. And I think I'm loud. I think I'm loud, but goddamn. Like I'm Italian, you know. This is kind of what we do. But I guess they're Memphis, so that's kind of what they do. Now, Jakoff refers to Memphis as the Promised Land, which is, of course, a biblical reference. I'll read this next one so you can read the last one here. The Jakofosauruses are sent to Paris. France, and I mentioned this at the end of the episode where you ran off to take a pee, where the people find them funny and liken them to Jerry Lewis. Now, Jerry Lewis was an American comedian best known for his slapstick comedy, wherein his acts like an awkward and clumsy, where he acts like an awkward and clumsy individual. Now, his popularity in France is actually pretty big, and it baffled American comedy critics because I guess France just like simpler style comedy, right? Now, was that part of the reason maybe why you didn't like this episode? Was it just too slapstick for you?
No, they were just annoying.
All right, go ahead.
The line "fine, just fine," said by the Department of Interior agents, is taken from the short film "For Goodness Sake 2." The scene as seen here, Jesus, features South Park creators Trey Park and Matt Stone, who also served as the film's director and first assistant director, respectively.
Yeah, isn't that cool? So they actually appeared or like helped on this film that they took the line from. And I've also been using that line forever. You've probably heard me use it. Fine. That'll be fine. Just fine. That'll be fine. Just fine.
Just fine.
Sometimes I don't even just say it like that. I just go, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I've literally said that, like, and people have laughed and like, or I'll get fucked up and I'll just be like I'll get fucked over and I'll be like, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. All right, let's go ahead and wrap this up, Scoop. We're making great time in here. Let's get to our top moments we liked and disliked. Now, I had a good amount. You didn't like this episode, so we're going to go through here. But I do agree with some of my top likes. So the first one, Cartman's song at the beginning. I hate you guys. You guys are sex. I hate you guys. Especially Kelly. I hate you the most. Come on, guys. You know the words.
You know the words. Come on, guys.
Number 2, we liked Cartman, of course, doing the poop, taking the poop there, and the whole situation of the poop, like being like, hey guys, I'm just gonna take a poop. So he goes to drop his pants. Guys being like, dude, don't take a shit here. And he's like, sorry, I know the rules for taking the poop in the woods, taking the poop outside. So I thought that was great. Number 3, you put Mr. Garrison and the pigeon. You liked that.
I thought that was hilarious.
Species erotica.
Yeah. Fuck that pigeon.
Fuck that pigeon. Number 4, who here hasn't fucked that pigeon? Raise your hand. Raise his hand. Okay. Of course, as we mentioned, number 4, that'll be fine. Just fine. That'll be fine. Just fine. Fine.
Man, just fine. That'll be fine.
I like Cartman says it. That'll be fine. That'll be fine. Just fine. They're like, that'll be fun. Just fine.
That'll be fine. Just fine. That'll be fine.
Number 5, when Kyle tells Cartman to stop smoking his mom's crack. So the reason why we thought this was funny was because in the previous scene,
she was smoking crack.
She was smoking crack. So Cartman's mom's upstairs smoking crack. And then they go to the next scene and they're like talking about something. And they're like, dude, you need to stop smoking your mom's crack. And Cartman's like, dude, that joke is so old, guys. Come on. So it was funny in the fact that, yes, that is an old joke that they rip on him about, but it was also meta and funny because it had just happened in the previous scene. And when I say meta itself, because it literally was technically, that is an old joke. It just happened previously in like the scene itself. So it was an old joke. So that's why it was meta. And I like that. Number 6, here's where we start to differ. I like the Jakovasaurs. I like this episode. Scoop does not. And Scoop, since it's your number 1 dislike, why don't you like this episode?
The Jakovasaur. Like, it's annoying to me. I don't like the whole over-the-top loudness. Yeah, it's fucking stupid. I don't know how many times I have to say it.
Whoa. I mean, or am I just high, or do you hear that?
What am I supposed to hear?
Are you hearing like an audio change? Do you hear an audio like a? Do you hear that? No. I don't know. Anyway, that's all. So everyone getting annoyed with Taurus while trying to save them. I guess I found that to be hilarious, and you found that to be hilarious as well. That everyone was just upset the fact that like Cartman is the only one trying to save the Jakovasaurs, but everyone's annoyed with that fact, right?
Mm-hmm.
Number 8, Mr. Barb Brady is smart in this episode. Now, you wanted to bring up something about Barb Brady.
Maybe they were trying to see if like they could play around the fact that if maybe they should make him smart than an actual cop. But then we get the detectives and everything later on. So Barb Brady is just the more I thought about it. So we got to keep Barb Brady the way he is. Stupid. Oh, Blue. Where am I?
And then number 9 was that I like the fact and that Cartman actually cared in this episode about something. I thought that he had some character development here, which was nice for Cartman to see him care about something. And he shows that at the end when he's upset with the fact that Jakovasaurs leaves to France. Scoop, why don't you go through our top dislikes?
My top dislike was Jakovasaur. I thought his over-the-top loudness, his fucking B-whip, it was annoying as fuck. I couldn't deal with it. It just
That's why I
doesn't do it
loved
for
it.
me.
That's why I loved it.
Yeah, see? You know, it is what it is. Didn't like the game show idea with the random laughing and all of that shit. I thought that was kind of like the whole slapstick was just a little. If they were a little bit classier with it, I don't know.
True, but you know what? I failed to mention. I remember on the game show they did say when he won, you and 50 of your family members will have won a trip to France. That's why I was like, damn, 50 family members. Oh, that's a
Damn,
specific number. You know what I mean?
that is a very specific number. I didn't like that Mr. Garrison only had that one pigeon line with the whole deal and with the pigeon. Thought he could have been a little bit more fun in this episode with the Jakovasaurs. Just saying.
He did have one other minute line when all the kids were in the classroom and they're all jumping around singing and doing the boop, boop. He actually talks to Mr. Hat and he goes, "This is insane, Mr. Or no, Mr. Hat goes, "This is insane, Mr. Garrison." And then Mr. Garrison goes, "I know, Mr. Hat," which I thought was kind of funny and little meta itself. This guy's insane, acknowledging that this is even more insane.
Right?
So that was pretty good. The next one I'll talk about because it was my disliked was why did they move into the house, which I thought was dumb. Like these guys were outside living in a pond. Why did they all of a sudden just get moved into a house? Now, granted, I understand they moved them into a barn, and they were like, "Well, we like the barn, so then just stay in the barn." Why do they have to then move them into a house? At least if you kept them in a barn, they would have still run around animals. They would have been out and about. It wouldn't have been as loud. It still would have been a farm animal. You expect farm animals to be loud out there and shit, right? Like, why didn't they stay out there?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't make sense. And all of a sudden, the town had to use resources. Taxpayer dollars went into getting the Jakovasaur his own home. And on top of that, you know what? I'm going to put this down here. I didn't like the fact that Cartman didn't get his comeuppance. That he got dogged in his fucking acceptance speech when they were like, "And here comes the kid who found the Jakovasaurs," and everybody leaves. That was fucked up.
That was fucked up, but funny. Fucked up, but funny.
Anyway, go ahead and read the last one. Why you top disliked?
We already kind of talked about it. Didn't like the TV show idea.
You didn't
the
like
whole
it.
thing. We already talked about it. Why is it the third twice?
Did we talk about it?
Yeah.
I didn't think we talked
Number
about it.
2.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we kind of like referenced it, but basically to go more in depth, what happened is when Jakovasaurus would walk in, it was supposed to be kind of like a spin-off. Like they were doing like their own spin-off show within South Park.
Oh yeah, that
got
part.
its own
That's
spin-off
right.
show.
My bad. I was thinking of the game show. I thought we had.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I was talking about the TV show idea. It's like Jakovasaurus got his own spin show. You know,
Yeah, that was fucking stupid. It's like it came out of nowhere for like 0.5 seconds too. Even Cartman was like, "What's that thing?"
So yeah, it's just to go more in depth. What happens is Jakovasaurus walks in after a hard day of work, and then when he walks in, he's like, "Hi, honey," and then like everyone claps, and then he's like talking to them, blah 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 blah, and then he falls, and everyone laughs, so the laugh track goes off, and then Cartman all of a sudden walks in, and he's like, "Hey, what's going on, everybody?" And then like, "Hi, Jakovasaurus," and then like you hear clapping, and Cartman's like, "What the hell is that?" And then like they laughed, and he's like, "Seriously, what the hell is that?" And yeah, so you didn't like that. I thought it was kind of funny. Thought it was interesting, just a little stupid. So that was that. So ladies and gentlemen, this begs the question. I'm gonna ask you. So let me ask you: was this in Scoop Stop 50?
No.
Was it in Scoop's Top 100?
No.
Was it in Scoop's Top 150? Was it in Scoop's Top 200?
I'll put it in the top 200.
Okay. Scoop's Top 200. 200. And then let's see for me. I gotta tell you.
Top 3. Fucker.
No. I gotta tell you though, top 50.
Top 50? Okay.
Top 50. It's one of my top 50 just because it is, I think, what is the heart of Matt Stone and Trey Parker at this time, I think, as artists, and it's just dumb comedy. And they wrote a dumb comedy show to piss off people. They probably fucking laughed their asses off making off this episode. It's called Jakovasaurs. Come on. Or Jakovasaurs. I mean, come on. It's hilarious. And I find the character, the beep, to be funny. And I also got some great lines out of this with that is fan, as well as I hate you guys. I really like this episode. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. That is it for another edition of Shucks and Buzz. First, we of course want to thank our sponsors, Hami Media Group and ratsaladreview.com. And of course, you can check us out, guys. A couple people did hit us up and they were like, hey, I didn't see you guys on Hacker How Mean. Yep, we moved to Hami Media Group, which is why we always mention to please look us up on Spotify, iTunes, Google, Spotify, or YouTube and subscribe to us. Or Stitcher. I think we're on Stitcher and all those other ones. Podcast Addict, Overcast,
Gotta go
Breakcast.
through Hammond to find us on Stitcher.
Well, see, there you go. You can find us. So go find us, subscribe to us. And, you'll always be at least locked and loaded just in case we move around. Definitely subscribe to those other feeds as well, too. We appreciate the support over there. And I'm Matthew Schaffer. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, Matthew_Schaffer. If you want to, and he's Q Jackson. And if you want to follow and hit us up at suckmyballspod@gmail.com, as well as suckmyballspod on Twitter and on Instagram and on Facebook at South Park Pod. You guys?
What is that?
It's my bone.
God damn it, Cartman!
How would you like to suck my balls?
What did you say?
I'm sorry. Actually, what I said was... How would you like to suck my balls, Mr. Garrison?
Holy shit, dude.